Okay, it's Xavier at the top part of the garden, and just before I go and do the part 3 of the count, I'm actually doing it before we start hitting the 40s in a day or two's time. I just thought that, you know, what preps I've made, and maybe some people may see it as a little bit too much, but in the same way that the unexpected hard frost can do major damage to your trees and you need to prepare for it. For this country, if you're going to start hitting 2-3 days of 38, 37, 40 degrees, then I think it's a pretty good idea to get some of those trees protected. Perhaps the junipers are going to be alright, but anything that's in a smaller pot, you don't want it baking in the sun all day long, especially if you're not going to be able to water it or keep an eye on it through the course of the day. So I'll just quickly show you what I've done. You can already see it's very green down here on the shady part of the garden. Once you get to lunchtime, this part all stays shady. So anyway, I'm just going to quickly show you around, and then we'll move on to the part 3 count and start laying bets whether we're actually going to get the total above 500, 600, who knows. We'll know by the end though. Cheers. Oh, and as you guessed, even me, I've been without the hat for a while. I thought I'd try and get me balding scalp more acclimatised to the sun, as it's going to get used to that more often as the years go on. Even I can't manage this, so the old green hat's come back on. Couldn't find any corks for Aussie Bonsai bloke, but do the job nicely. Cheers. So, knowing that this top right hand part of the house really gets the afternoon sun and gets baked, I've cleared everything off there apart from some junipers, which I'm pretty confident, and the Zelko will probably be fine with those pots. They're nice and deep. And everything now, see how that adjusts, is stacked down there, nice and protected. Xaviers, anything that's in small pots, and all this would be lovely. I'm going to have a look today. I mean, they're in deeper pots, those larches, and if they're healthy, they're pretty good in the sun. Just want to see where the sun finishes and at what time, whether I manage to move some of those ficuses into the shade. But yeah, so that's what I've done up here. And then, as I say, as we move down to Zelkova Chinese Elm Alley, as you remember last time, they would have been all up on the benches, but I know from about 1:30, 2 o'clock, the sun gets higher and this whole corner just bakes. So they're all down there, and they're going to enjoy their the next 3 or 4 days in the relative safety of that area. Also an awful lot easier to water your stuff when it's all in one space, and you get group protection taking place with all the leaves. And in the same way with the maples, with that glaring white wall radiating and reflecting heat back onto the plant pots, especially the smaller ones, they've all been cleared, and everything of a bigger size is down there. So you're going to get a combination of self-protection from each other's leaves, but also some partial shading from the bench that's here. I'm trusting that the jades will do well in the heat. And all I've done is packed stuff all into one corner here, so mutual protection. All the smaller pot stuff, certainly here. And these are all these, in fact, to give you a chance, there's some more, all those maples. They'll stay in the shade for the next 3 or 4 days. No sun gets there, apart from I think the first early morning rays, and some smaller pot stuff there. Down around greenhouse row, I've obviously cleared that because that just bakes from now until the end of time, and I've cleared them from there as well, and they're just sitting nice in the shade of the fence. Coming around, it gets more difficult in this part of the garden. There's only so much I can move. This area is going to be cooking most of the day, but all I've sort of looked at is a lot of these are bigger trees, but also the ones that are in the beds, they've already got roots they've sent down, so hopefully they're going to be able to get through alright, and the olives are alright. The only ones I'm worried about a little bit is the Scots pines, only because I've done work on them relatively recently. And that takes us only to the other area. Again, I can only do so much here, but I've taken all of the stuff off the side, and where I can, it's just going to sit down in this area here, a little bit of shade from the railway bunkers themselves, and we'll just see what happens. Again, junipers and some sort of very steady larch, they should be alright. But I'm going to watch this. I'm not sure how much that shade stays, and if necessary it'll get moved over to air layer alley, or further over, probably down to that corner. Anyway, so I've got this to do, and it's a pile of oak. I've heard it called many things. I think I bought 50 or 60 oak whips about 3 years ago for £20 from Avalon Nursery, and each year, the last 3 years, some of them I've taken out, potted up into individual pots. Some have been added to some of my little sort of forest creations, and others I've just left in here. Now's a great time to cut back, so I start looking through and looking at some obvious mistakes or problems with them. Not least the fact that I just did a horrible cut. That is a truly chunky cut. Oh my gosh, I think my my daughter could do a better cut than that. Well, that's a gone. No, so what I'm going to do is have a look at this first one. It's got a really beautiful trunk down there and a spider. Ugh. So all I'm going to do is remove all the stuff that I don't want, and looking at that, I can either say let's pick the best branch and grow on from there, which is what I think I'm going to do in this instance, and just do some real basic. So now I'll let that grow. May even end up wiring, but see how that comes out. And a lot of these, they just get developed that way. So let's take it back there. Let's see what comes from that. I'll fill that and clean that up properly. That's how I develop my oaks. Well, from this stuff, and I'm just going to go through here. There's a little one here. I'm going to either cut back to the lowest here, so we've got 3 coming from here. So I'm going to take the middle one out, take that, so I'm left with 2 on this, let that grow. Got this little thing here, nothing really, it's very straight. That one could end up getting wired, but well, I might see what happens experimenting with this if I take it right back and see if we get any growth there. Look at this again, there's great big long growth here, but I want some tape developing, so I'm going to take that big thing off. For 2, see what happens there. Again, what we've got here, this one's a lot thicker. Got that branch there, so let's go back to that one and see what happens. This one, same thing, got little branches there. Let's see what happens. And basically I'm going to go around now with these, and I'm going to cut all of them all the way back, and see what develops from them. They'll stay in this. You see, it's nice and deep, it's got nice cover. Those roots will be absolutely matted up. I know when I tried to take some out of there last year, it took me ages trying to get the roots unsorted. But the key with these is there's no great monster taproot going 19 feet down into the earth to worry about. So I'm going to carry on with that, and then I'll bring you back at the end. Okay, see all the main tops and that. I mean, it's not that brilliant, but from there, brought the heights right back down. But it also means the key thing I wanted to do with these was allow light to get in. So that means the light's going to get right in there, good ventilation, so we're not hopefully going to get the powdery mildew or anything, which I've stayed really clear of. But also now gives us a chance for this into the summer and the autumn to see what next flushes will develop. I can already see some really interesting shapes that I'm going to be able to work from with these in a year, 2 years. And this is, again, it's about being patient. I mean, I'm lucky. You know, let's not pretend I have got absolutely loads of cuttings and goodness knows what else to manage and deal with, and so I am lucky. But it had to start somewhere, and with me it started with lots of cuttings and finding lots of really small stuff, and then really holding back my desire to do anything and just put them in the corner. And that's what I've been doing with these for 3 years. So I recommend you, if you've got a dark bit of the corner, a dark bit of the garden that you don't know what to do with, get yourself a whole load of 2-year-old saplings, whether it be larch, whether it be hornbeam, oak, you know, silver birch, anything, and then just do what I've just done, you know, let them grow and then prune them once or twice a year and just see what incredible shapes you can create. With no wire, you just need a good set of secateurs or pruning shears. Right, so next task, I can see a large Japanese larch that's been sitting untouched for a good few years, but also my potentilla. So I'm going to do my potentilla, but I have got a large corkbark elm and another large Japanese greybark elm. So let's move over to that now. But before we leave these oaks entirely, just sort of show, I mean, this is the sort of thing I'll do. It's nothing magic right now. I mean, it's certainly made by the Dawn Isaac scrape bark pot, but these are the same trees. They were taken out a year or two earlier, put into a little plantation scene, and I keep clipping back, and slowly you get some really interesting trees forming. And you know, if there's anything like this, which I don't like particularly, I have a good mind that probably come the autumn, and I could do it now, there's some buds there, I'll cut it right back here and let it grow. So I'll actually bring the forest height down, and therefore your proportion to the trunk to the height will get better and better. Yeah, but this is the sort of thing you can do, and it really doesn't cost you very much, if anything at all. I mean, all these came from my sister's garden, I think. So yeah, anyway, let's get to this potentilla. So, common potentilla. I actually I can't remember exactly when I planted this. It started off like all of my potentillas, this sort of stuff, as little garden stock. No, it didn't look like my hands. Sometimes I put them in pots, sometimes I put them in bonsai pots too early, and other times I take a chance and I just put them straight into my nursery growing beds. And that's what I did with this. And all of this lovely, I mean, you look at the movement's incredible down there, and that has purely come from clip and grow. It was in the nursery beds for at least 3 years. Came out 2 years ago, so it's been in this for 2 years. So I think I've mentioned before, this is going to go into a bonsai pot next year, but for now it's just about controlling it now. So we've got these lovely beautiful purple flowers, but so long it's healthy, it buds from old wood. So I think the only thing I do have to do is clip it back a bit. You know, stuff dies on it. I could do with getting some growth lower down, but to be fair, I haven't dealt with one this big. I mean, I've just allowed it to get bigger and bigger, and my fear is that all the foliage is going to stay at the top, and slowly it's going to get taller and taller. I'm not sure whether I'm going to get back budding here, so if anyone knows with a more mature potentilla whether you do get, once it starts getting really old, the wood here, whether you will actually get back budding or not. Anyway, all I'm going to do here is clip off what I believe to be obviously dead branches. Some nice little shoots there, but it'd be good if I get something budding further back. So just cut everything we can. I'm pretty sure we'll get growth from these little areas here. Let's clean it up. That would be the ideal height. And before I started dealing with potentilla, did I have any clue how they responded? Nope.
I just started clipping my little nursery plant and just see what happens. Slowly you learn that you can be actually quite ruthless with them, but I'm also sure that I'm going to actually reach a point where I'm going to realise that I've gone too far. Hopefully not with this one, but it's I mean, yes, it's looking better and better. What I'll try here is if I cut, it looks brown in there, yes, that's dead. Often I'll just cut back branches until I get green. If I don't, cut all the way back. That looks dead. Got growth here. If I can get growth from there, then hopefully regrow a whole new And again, as I've said time and time again, if you're dealing with stuff you're not quite entirely sure of, I always leave the growth on tips if I can, but I also have a couple of branches where I experiment on and just see what happens. That's how I learnt about the dwarf azaleas. Some of them I just cut right back because they said you could, and it budded from just, you know, it didn't have any greenery on it, just budded straight back. So learn by experimentation as well. That's a nice one. Now if that grows, that'll bring the height in. We've got another little one growing here, and these are little indicators that it will back bud. So it's just a case of rejuvenating and encouraging it to do some work for me. A little bud there, so let's see what happens. So you can see the one there, that middle one out. I could probably plant that, but I've got loads of potentilla, so a bit of reduction there. Now if I'm looking at this being the front, now looking at this set here, we've got it's broken. Oops. We've got 1, 2, 3 coming from the same point. Every part of it would say take that centre one out because it's thicker. But looking at that, it's actually crossing into this area, and also I don't like there. It's almost a 90-degree angle there. So I'm going to take a chance and remove that. Okay, so this is my potentilla. Quite a hard prune back. As I say, each year I learn something new about it, and I really want to see what I have to do with the pruning routines on these to actually get some more shoots lower down. I'm going to keep it. It's been in this fairly sunny. Will that be an outtake or will that be in the video? I don't know. It's been in a very sunny spot of the garden this year, and I know when it was really thriving well, I actually had it in quite shady part. So it's going to spend the rest of the time down the bottom end here. So it'll be overseeing the work I do. But I think for now, I'm going to close off. I think I'm quietly confident. I really hope this continues to thrive, because for that movement, that's just gorgeous. So, from Xavier and my little pet potentilla, I'll say farewell, and hopefully I'll be back. And that is very easy one to do, isn't it, Andrew? Cheers. Cheers.